Project Green School Education as a promotion of sustainable use of cultural and natural heritage and resources. Project code 15.2.1001. The project is co-financed by the European Union through European Regional Development Fund under the Intergraph 5A Romania-Bulgaria program. The content of this movie does not necessarily represent the official position of the European Union. As soon as you come to Bulgaria, you have to feel its spirit and tradition, because the country is rich not only in natural landmarks, but also in traditions and festivals. They show the history and the culture of their region. The folk songs and dances, unique with orchestras, are just a small part of what's worth it to be seen and heard in Montana district. Festivities everywhere at every festival, the participation is seen as a privilege and a sign of professionalism. The municipality of Montana is the organizer of an international folklore festival dedicated to the town's feast of the Holy Spirit. It is part of the program for the Feast of Montana, which is celebrated in June on the Monday after Pentecost. Its goal is to make the feast more attractive and bring more guests in our town. In other words, its goal is the development of the festival tourism and the cultural enrichment of the cultural events calendar of Montana. The promotion of the cross-cultural communication in the modern globalized world is also a very important goal of this festival and of this type of events in general. What the groups of the festival do could be called cultural diplomacy in its nature. The emotional charge of the folklore art creates goodwill and mutual respect and many friendships. They unite us all in our quest for a better and more harmonious world, which is hard to achieve, but it does not mean we should give up the idea to make a small step towards it each and every year. I think that this festival also contributes to the positive image of our region because we make enormous efforts as organizers in order to show the landmarks of northwestern Bulgaria to our guests and in general to make their participation in the festival an unforgettable experience. The festival is not a competition. The concerts are held on an open scene at the main square of Montana in front of a wide audience. So far, nearly 40 countries from 3 continents, Europe, Asia and Africa, have taken part in the festival. Our furthest artistic guests were from India, Russia, Portugal, Spain, England, France, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Holland and Finland. And our most exotic guests were from Jordan and Egypt. Traditional participants are formations from the Balkan countries because of their proximity, not only geographical one but also cultural. They are interested in the festival. Our efforts are used to expand the geography of the festival and to ensure diversity by not including performers from the same country in 2 successive editions of the festival. It is mandatory to have 1 or 2 dance ensembles which present the folklore of countries that have never visited Montana. The groups that participate in the International Folklore Festival present an authentic and processed folklore. There are no limitations related to their repertoire. We also accept professional and amateur groups and we try to balance. We have no age restrictions, that's to say that a festival is very easy to take part in. The exhibition Craft Alley is held together with the Folklore Festival. Local masters and craftsmen exhibit their handmade works made out of wood, clay, silver, wool, and other natural materials. The alley stretches alongside the main square in Montana, and there you could find household and garden crockery, handmade souvenirs. The decorative wall panels with motifs from the world-famous and protected by UNESCO Chyprovtsi carpets make a particular impression. Panels made with semi-precious stones are also being offered. You could see fossils of prehistoric animals, fretwork, unique pictures that are made of natural dyes, as well as musical instruments. The most impressive are the traditional dishes for Montana area that are cooked directly in front of the visitors and could be tasted. All products are made at home, eco-friendly and healthy. The locals are sure that no other dishes are more delicious than theirs. It includes a lot of dried peppers that are used in almost all dishes. The trademark of the cuisine from this part of the country are also the dried chilies. The cuisine itself is more economic in terms of products. More meatless products are used. The dishes are more simple, but their taste is sharper. We use a lot of winter savory. We also put a bit of wild mint. Now, when the weather is warmer, the mint gives the dish a chilly feeling, but you shouldn't put much. I also put the most tender lime or vine leaves for flavor. The International Folklore Festival, Montana, is also accompanied by a number of cultural and entertainment events. An international dog show, children's theatrical performances, competitions for kids with different themes take place in the parks, and an open equestrian tournament is organized under the wall of Augusta Dam nearby the town. Thus, each resident or guest of the area could find and visit an event matching his interests and preferences. Wind music is very popular and beloved in this part of Bulgaria. The wind orchestra has been at the center of all urban, public and cultural events in the years after the liberation. The author of the Danube Horo, Dico Iliev, was born here in this region. Dico Iliev has contributed not only in his capacity as a composer, but also as a musician, an orchestra conductor and the creator of many wind orchestras within his more than half-a-century-old creative activity. He has rendered great services because of the creation of these small wind orchestras in the villages. Dico Iliev created more than 40 hora dance music for more than 50 years. Pravu, straight, even horo, Daichuvu horo, Eleninu horo. He has written marches, he has tens of marches, tangos, rumbas, children's songs. Every 2 years, the town of Montana is the host of the national festivities of wind orchestras Dico Iliev organized in his honor. Traditionally, professional and amateur wind orchestras from all around the country and guest orchestras from Belarus, Ukraine, the Czech Republic and Poland take part in them with a 30-minute program each. There is a requirement towards them to include at least 2 works of Dico Iliev in their programs and at least 1 play from a contemporary Bulgarian composer. As organizers, we stick to the genre performance of the composition they perform. Every day, the performances start with orchestra and cheerleader marches. The performances of all the cheerleader teams bring additional color and beautiful mood to guests and participants. The feasts are accompanied by events targeted towards young people. A composition contest for wind orchestra works and a drawing contest called The Drum Beats Around Dance Horo is winding are also organized. The drawing contest, The Drum Beats Around Dance Horo is Winding, has the purpose to attract the attention of the youngsters to the feast, the wind orchestras and the works of Diku Iliev. Children from Bulgaria and abroad aged between 7 and 15 years old could take part in the contest, and they are divided in groups by age, from 7 to 11 years old and from 12 to 15 years old. There are no restrictions in relation to the technique and the genre of the works, and every participant could present himself/herself with not more than 3 drawings. The main goals of the national festivities of wind orchestras Diku Iliev in Montana are to protect the rich national traditions of the wind orchestras, to promote the works of Diku Iliev and the wind music, and also to enrich and diversify the cultural life in the town and the area. The active cognitive attitude towards the folklore elements makes the composers of wind orchestra works and the young painters create works which help preserving our cultural memory and increase our national self-esteem in a globalized world. Another folklore festival in Montana, the National Folklore Contest Chants from the Northwest, proves it. Children aged between 4 and 19 years old, as well as students majoring in music and aged between 19 and 30 years old, can participate in the competition. Young talents compete in singing, playing and dancing, divided in 4 sections: folk singing, choreography, instrumentalists and folklore ensembles for possessed folklore. A special section is made for Bulgarian children from abroad. The participants in each section are obliged at least one of their performances to be a song, a dance, or an instrumental play from northwest Bulgaria and the northern folklore area. For the convenience of the participants, they are provided with authentic songs from this area that are written down in notes. This is a music that has been created for many years, for centuries, and it must be developed. This makes me spend a lot of time with it because this is the real music. Today's generation listens to modern music, which is liked by the youngsters. Nevertheless, someone has to maintain the traditions of the old, real music. For me, the biggest incentive, motivation and pleasure is when I see the smiles on children's faces and the happiness when they have competed and won a prize. The main goal of the National Folklore Contest Chants from the Northwest is to give an opportunity to talented children that are performing authentic and processed folk songs, folk instrumentals and folk dances from northwestern Bulgaria. The contest is a significant cultural event that helps promoting the folklore traditions and stimulates the interest of more and more young people towards their acquaintance and preservation. The International Children's Festival of Arts, Leather Shoes, takes place each year 20 kilometers away from Montana at the end of May, getting together on one scene talented children from Bulgaria and the rest of the world. The participants are supposed to be children younger than 16 years old. According to the rules, there are 4 sections in the festival: music, modern dance, children's theater, fine art, which has a different theme for drawing each year during the Best Drawing Contest. The festival is a competition, and the performances of the participants are judged by a professional jury. The evaluation criteria are very high, and some of the award-winning young talents already have their singing career. To get close to the history, the traditions and the art of a country is a real recognition for everyone who has decided to visit Bulgaria. The festivals are a bright example of a rapprochement and demonstration of the art today together with the young people. The contribution for the development of the cultural life in the country and the upbringing of the adolescents. The participation in the amateur groups gives the young people self-confidence and self-discipline. The opportunity to travel abroad should stimulate the children additionally to participate in the dance ensembles, to present their countries, to show and perpetuate the traditions. And Bulgaria and Montana district give everyone the dream destination filled with rich culture and hospitable people. Project Green School Education is a promotion of sustainable use of cultural and natural heritage and resources. Project code 15.2.1001. The project is co-financed by the European Union through European Regional Development Fund under the Intergraph 5A Romania-Bulgaria program. The content of this movie does not necessarily represent the official position of the European Union.